ɛfa ɛyɛ the former finance minister ɛyɛ Ken Ofori Atta ne extradition process here abusuafo sese aba abonten sɛ nea OSP ɛyɛ kisi agyaben nea ɔyɛ no kyerɛ sɛ ebi mu esusu sɛ anka His Excellency John Dramani Mahama ɛmpame papa yi because papa yi ɛnyɛ ready sɛ ɔbɛyɛ adwuma as an OSP na abusua ɔmo kyerɛ no so sɛ ɔpam papa yi ɔbɔ mɔden sɛ ɔbɛgye sika biara ɔde maa no sɛ ɔmfa nyɛ adwuma as an OSP no ɔngye sɛ sika no because ɔnyɛ ready sɛ ɔbɛkye ɛyɛ Ken Ofori Atta na Kevin Ekobadu Taylor ɛkyɛ ne nsɛm a abra OSP edi nkɔmɔ wie no Kevin so area titu nkɔmɔ na OSP ɛyɛ kesi agyaben edi no kyɛ ne nsɛm a papa wei yɛka sɛ obi edi ntropa yɛ sa papa wei yɛka sɛ obi ɛnyɛ serious ɛwɔ na abra bomu a ɛyɛ OSP kesi agyaben abusua na Kevin atutu bi di ama no ɔkyerɛ papa wei ɛkwan a Ken Ofori Atta ɛfa so ɛde efiri ɛyɛ ɔman mu ha ekopie kwasebro ne krom no OSP enim ho bi sisi OSP aba abonten eba abaka sɛ abra Ken Ofori Atta efiri ɛyɛ ɔman Ghana no na ɛyɛ ade a His Excellency the former president Nana was the president before a yɛbɛsoɛ ɛyɛ yɛ papa Mahama John Dramani Mahama in as the president of Ghana no na ɛyɛ ade a saa time no na Ken Ofori Atta ɛkɔ na ɔkɔɛ under the administration of our former president na busia we enama eye Kevin Ekobadu Taylor ba abonten na wa expose eye OSP big time na ensem ode atudwa afa eye OSP ene eye connection na owo between eye Ken Ofori Atta ene ono OSP no abusua wa expose ni na ewo ye light TV so we dem am kasa de pese e kono kwete ensem a na se enkoma OSP edi ye ene Kevin Ekobadu Taylor ono so no reaction na ode ama eye OSP Emra says how does so be media je but subscribe like na bo a share for person be ati no nya bi enti yenti ensem e call so message here yes
the special prosecutor oko the almighty KSM show so and I think say right now I already say obeka the numa asem akraka boy settings na eye attorney eye special prosecutor Echo KSM show so ako kan sembi Emma finally wakacha Ghana for say onimpa se no Ofori Atta ekọ na ni tua omuhunu no airport o ma anya hwe wakacha mo me catch him from day one say this guy he knew now him date flight Ofori Atta the free Ghana he knew everything. He deliberately sat back and allowed him to go and he has made it clear to you. And me catch them say OSP. No, he does not care about the Amokan. Was spending $50.5 million. And that is what he is worried about and not what you are saying. And if in Anwa, we can't just go to the US, spring him up and bring him. I cannot put a date on it. The central authority in respect of extradition matters is in the US. It matters in the US could decide one thing. The president of the United States, Donald Trump, can step on it and block it and say no. I've heard you say. Somebody Jumano Krampo no me ready something neba. One here Donald Trump mpene. Kiseja be wa bodam. Or see oh. Say Krampo no. Or the dog get attorney general. Na attorney general ye bibia ne FBI for kasa, DND for kasa, and na obedru America. Na so mo beka so mo fa Ken Ofori Atta akokra. President Trump kra beka so mpene. Obesi President Trump abetumi block. Or catch them say. Or no onye ready so kofa. Ken Ofori Atta abo. Mumi enko tie eye de yi. Kisie jaben ewo eye KSM show no so. Wodwudwo ma kire mo.
OSP must and we would always work together with Attorney General. Attorney General in turn should hold our hands. We are working for one republic, one Ghana. The main perpetrator from our standpoint, the main perpetrator had no intention of returning back to the country. Of course, he had left the country earlier in the year during the transition. Now we should place this in proper context because we've attracted some flag that why did we allow him to go? Mr. Misa, he left before 7th January. Between 1st, I know there's that date, but I'm not going to mention it. All I'm saying is between 1st and Between 1st and 6th January, he had left. Who was in power during those few days? And we don't control the airports. We don't control the exit. The OSP doesn't control the exit points. But we are taking flag day in and day out. Why did we allow him? Let me put it this way. His cousin was president. Let's face facts.
Yeah.
Before John Dramani Mahama was sworn in on 7th January, Nana Akufo-Addo was the president.
Yeah.
That was his cousin. He had kept him in the office for more than 7 years. I said, when he left, the president was Nana Addo Akufo-Addo.
Okay.
At the time he left, we were not getting the cooperation at the time from other security agencies.
You weren't getting any cooperation?
No, we're not.
You had asked for them?
Oh, we asked for all that, but we were not. It was as if there was a policy of block the OSP out. That was what we were facing, and that was the circumstances under which we were being expected to perform. I think I've complained about these things over national security. Nope. At the time, the situation is different now. National Signals Bureau, nope. At the time, the situation is different now. National Intelligence Bureau, 0. At the time, the situation is different now. I mean, the security setup was stacked up against the OSP, so we will not be able to perform our job. This was the situation in which we found ourselves. And I'm being asked how I let Ken Ofori Atta through this. We didn't watch him leave. We were powerless. That is the truth. We were powerless. We saw him leave, but we couldn't prevent him from leaving at the airport because we couldn't. Now we can rely on Ghana Immigration Service to block someone. Now we can rely on national security.
Before then you couldn't.
To block someone. Then, at the time he left, you call up immigration, no one will even bother to respond to you. You write to immigration, no one will even bother to respond to you. And I'm saying this unabashedly. That was the situation we found ourselves in. Once again, before we put him on the Interpol Red Notice, we know he left the state on 1 or 2 occasions. But we believe he's in the state. And we know the area in which he lives. The person lives in the United States. Kisia Jabin, Office of the Special Prosecutor, even the Ghana Army. We can't just go into the US, spring him up and bring him. That is what Ghanaians need to understand.
Yeah, and that is what
we are going through a certain very tedious extradition process to bring him back. That's why I said. That's why I was joking about it. That if he lived in Agbogba, I would have. He'll be with us as we are speaking. But since he is in a foreign country, I cannot put a date on it. And even then, the central authority in respect of extradition matters in the US could decide one thing. The President of the United States can step on it and block it and say no. You get it? So far as he is in the United States of America, we cannot put a date on it that we are bringing him today, we are bringing him tomorrow. That will be foolhardy.
Courtesy KSM show. So you can watch the KSM show, I think, on YouTube. The KSM show, you can go watch the full interview, and also I think they're on TikTok and also on Facebook, on all platforms. Now, when you see a year interview, no, you see Kisia Jabin is playing a game, and that game he's playing a game whereby the post a year po na yebobo na film no, what tampo na kwesi baby, and on one a decide be bobo na fa. Also, right now, he's putting the blame on the NPP administration. Now, as we speak, are you going to go back and question the NPP administration why they allowed Ofori Atta to leave? He's playing on your minds. Because if he tries to blame this current administration, he needs to show evidence why this current administration did not give him any help. So the best thing he can do now is he needs to blame the NPP administration, which at this point, there's no administration. Which at this point, every single person has left their position, which at this point, you are basically blaming the wind. Into what he's doing now is that he is playing on your conscience. He is trying to divert the whole thing. The blame that he's supposed to take, he's shifting that blame on an administration that has been dissolved. Now, let's go back into his statements. First of all, Osei Ofori Atta left during the transition period between before the 7th. He knew or he knows the exact date Ken Ofori Atta flew out of the country. So it means he had Ken Ofori Atta's ticket. He knew the day he was leaving. He knew the flight Ken Ofori Atta was getting on. He knew the terminal he was using. And I can tell you on authority, Ken Ofori Atta, he used the Macdan terminal. He used the same private jet Akufo-Addo rented. That's the same jet Ken Ofori Atta flew with from Ghana. He went through Macdan's terminal. He went with a private jet. It's the same private jet na Akufo-Addo renti and that was the same private jet that picked Ken Ofori Atta from Kotoka International Airport. Now, I'll say they don't control the airport. The Special Prosecutor's Office does not control the airport. Yes. But during the transition team were able to stop some things Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo was doing. So if during the transition you really wanted your voice to be heard, why didn't you come out and do a press conference between the 1st and the 6th to let Ghanaians know that officially, you as the OSP, you are not in charge of immigration, you are not in charge of the airport, but what you are saying is, Ken Ofori Atta, if he's in this country, he should not leave the country, and that the transition team should take notice of this, and whatever they can do to stop Ken Ofori Atta exiting Ghana, that day, the transition team would have made sure Ken Ofori Atta never exited Ghana. But you sat, you watched. You knew the time and date he was leaving. So you enabled him. Because if you had made a move, you had every right to come on TV on the 1st, on the 2nd, on the 3rd, on the 4th. To have a press conference and tell Ghanaians that Ken Ofori Atta is one person you don't want to leave this country. Because the transition team were even able to stop Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo from doing some things before he left office within that 1 week. So what are you telling us? What stopped you from telling Ghanaians that you are trying to stop Ofori Atta from leaving and that nobody is helping you? The immigration is ignoring you. The police is ignoring you. The military are ignoring you. What stopped you from letting us know that this is the decision you are taking, this is what you are doing, and that you are not getting support from the current government? That is why he was basically rallying around Akufo-Addo's cousin is Ken Ofori Atta. He wanted you people to understand that the administration that is gone is supposed to take the blame and that it's not him. Whilst he is the person who deliberately ignored the green light to signal we Ghanaians that we should all come together and stop this. Because if you, the special prosecutor, having Ken Ofori Atta's itinerary, knowing when he's flying out, knowing the flight he's going with, and the day he was leaving, you could have come out openly to tell Ghana that I don't want Ken Ofori Atta out because there's an investigation that I know he's guilty and I want to prosecute him. Why didn't you do anything? Now you are telling us about your interaction with the past administration, which has been dissolved and nobody can be traced. So you see, Kissie Jabin is lying. Wasn't it the transition period? And a gold it was in transit leaving Ghana during the transition period, and at the same time, intercepted stop gold from leaving the country. When they say transition, doesn't mean that nobody can do anything. Technically, there's a new government, and that they are doing handover. That means the new government can tell whoever is in charge to put a halt to something happening. That is why during transition, some people can be flagged that you cannot leave the country. So Kissie Jabin is basically lying to every single person. He is telling you that don't blame me, blame Akufo-Addo. Who the fuck cares about Akufo-Addo? He is a dead meat, he's a vegetable walking around. And he's doing politics. the president's cousin. We know this is not the first time we have known that Ken Ofori Atta is a Kufuor's cousin, and everyone will protect their cousin. But the law, when the law is applied, it does not matter whether it's your cousin or your brother. We will have to all stick within the law. Why didn't you apply the law? You had options. If you call immigration, they ignore you. You call airport, they ignore you. You call police, they ignore you. You call military, they ignore you. What do? You have another option to tell Ghanaians that some people are not listening to me and that do not blame me if Ken Ofori Atta leaves Ghana. Why didn't you take that option? You wanted the guy to exit this country. You didn't want to carry that burden. You didn't want to carry the burden. You didn't want to stop this guy from leaving Ghana. If you, Kisi Jabin, the way you are tough, you wanted to stop Ken Ofori Atta, and can we stop it, Ken Ofori Atta? You want to tell me that if Ken Ofori Atta say can we stop him and sebio omami wu and yes who now your OSP so stop Ken Ofori Atta enya de omami wu and can we stop no. You did not add any urgency to it because you knew what you were doing. You knew what you were doing. Today you are briefing us every single day. Let me tell you something. With all due respect to you, this is not personal against you, but you are taking us for granted. You don't respect us. If you can't do this job, tell us you can't do the job. Walk away. But the continual disrespect, the consistency in your inconsistency when it comes to Ken Ofori Atta's issue, it makes you look so terrible and bad. It's an embarrassment when people sit and watch you that you are the special prosecutor of Ghana. You are now telling us today that you can do everything, and come to America and try to get the guy, but when the American president does not want it to happen, it will not happen. How did we get there? Well, in Ghana, when the FBI came, the agencies that are responsible to collaborate with the FBI collaborated with them. Whoever was supposed to be extradited was extradited. Why are you telling us that the President John Mahama has to step in and stop somebody? Why? Those Ghanaians who were picked away, doesn't Mahama know they are citizens of Ghana and that he needs to protect Ghanaians? But the law is the law. It needs to apply. Why are you now bringing this issue of America? Donald Trump, the President of the United States, who might not understand? What are you talking about? Boss, respect us a little bit. We all had belief in you. We thought to say you were young. And that, you know, special prosecutor, I'm older than you. Yeah. We all believed in you. I'm older than you. But we believed to say, we thought Martinambi did not rape Kasa by heart. At a point he was doing nothing, just talking. But we thought to say you are young. You are vocal. You sounded like somebody who was going to be very strict and also very transparent. Majority of us, even though some people raised issues about how cunning you were, we still stood still and said, you can do something. During your interview, you created a picture, a Mona Lisa to us that this is the go-to church, go-to picture. This is the creme de la creme, and that we can put everything on the line. But you see what you're doing. You contradict yourself every single day. The inconsistencies in the way you are consistent in lying about Ken Ofori Atta's issue is getting out of hand. It is so embarrassing now. Today, somebody listens to you and they're like, so what do we do with you? So what's your end game? What is your end game? What are you trying to imply here? So the crack is saying, what's the summary? We should ignore Ken Ofori Atta. Because you are not giving us any clear picture that you can even bring Ken Ofori Atta. From your press conference to all the statements you have released and your current interview, you have not given us any clear sign that you can bring Ken Ofori Atta. You are rather telling us that it is going to be difficult. Then it means you don't have the know-how to go around the difficult situation, which we all cannot go around to bring Ken Ofori Atta. We need somebody who can crack their brains and go around the difficult situation to bring Ken Ofori Atta home. That is why there are lawyers, and there are some lawyers that are recognized around the world. Everybody went to law school, but there are some lawyers in Ghana that you cannot go around because they are exceptional, like Tadio Sorry. Like some lawyers that you know, Peter Okujato. There are some lawyers in Ghana, you cannot go around them because they have a niche. They have carved it for themselves. If you cannot do this job, then it means there's somebody who is more capable of going around what you see as difficult to make it easy for us to bring Ken Ofori Atta. So you don't deserve to be in that office. And this is not personal. I've not met you before. I don't hate you, but I believe that you are not capable of doing this job and that you have disappointed every single Ghanaian. And nobody should take this personal. I don't hate you. I've not even met you before. I don't know your kids. And I don't know, maybe one day I'll be in a problem somewhere. You will be the person to save me. It is not personal. It is about you not being capable of executing the job we have given you. And that you need to be reasonable enough, be a gentleman enough, be responsible enough to say.
Abusia for waiting someone Abusia a course so after say OSP edin komo wie no. Nia Kevin Akobedu Taylor Abusia or the eto so no how say be media GH. Your best was so best subscribe like na wa bo so share for person be atie no. Enya bi atie subscribe for more political updates. Obo ade onkai na ye ho na oma na dom no enye kase na abrana bre na Abusia chese yatumi ahia mu ewo eye YouTube afide kase so chese oma yenya hoden abrana bre na yedamase se abrana bre na so munya mre ehwe channel no yedamase bye.